Hey yo, what's good everybody? My name is Ronja Engarde. Welcome back from more Pokemon Platinum into this part. Girl, we're at the top of the Spear Pillar. No, we're at the top of Mount Coronet, which is the Spear Pillar. And in this part, hopefully, we're gonna make some magic happen, y'all. I can't even pretend to be that person. Oh lord. Yeah, I'm still kind of on like a whole in a whole thought process of whatever I was talking about last episode. And actually, between recording episodes, I remembered what I wanted to talk about. It was the fact about like piracy and stuff, because I read a quote that apparently Gabe Newell said was something about piracy. I don't remember the quote. Okay, I don't remember the quote exactly, but it was something about like the number one thing that combats piracy is, you know, when shit works well, pretty much. So like for example, the fact that Steam exists makes it, you know, piracy go down for the games that are on Steam. Pretty much is the thought. And I can kind of really agree with that, because, like, how many times have you tried, well, okay, theoretically, because I've never done this, but how many times have you tried to download something and, it took you over an hour to finagle your way into it, and, you know, you end up with a product that's still, if it works, it looks like total shit. Because that has definitely never happened to me. When you could instead, you know, just spend what, like, if it's a triple A game, you spend, you know, I don't really know dollar prices. I'm sorry, but like, let's just say $20. Okay, maybe more than that. $40. I don't know prices, but you spend a not too big amount of money to download the game from, say, Steam, and you know, then you're guaranteed not only the game, which you know is going to work properly, well, as long as it is a game that you know that like, say if you download, I don't know, Dark Souls 3, to name a random example. Because, you know, you've seen people play it, and you know that if you buy and download it from Steam, it's gonna be, you know, the game. It's not gonna be like some people trying to scam you out of it or some crazy shit like that. Fuck you. And then you're also guaranteed, you know, a refund. You're guaranteed for a short amount of time. Customer support, and you know, like all of the things that are included if you buy a commercial game, instead of, you know, having to go on some CD torrent site, get like 30 viruses just from breathing on the website, and then, you know, downloading like 40 like .rar files, trying to combine them, which takes like fucking a millennium. And then you end up with like a Russian copy of the Shrek 2 movie instead. It's like, girl, please, I didn't want this. Pretty much for the amount of the thing that combats piracy is the amount of time and what it is, know-how to be able to actually torrent shit. Which, you know, like, if you, for example, Pokemon Red is not really like a good example, which is why I'm bringing it up, because, like, if you said to me, gave me a totally new computer and said, find me Pokemon Red, I could have a working copy of Pokemon Red playing within 5 minutes, because, girl, that shit is just everywhere. But if you, like, say for example, needed Pokepark Wii Pikachu's Adventure for the Wii, girl, it would be just a million times easier to just buy the game for $10, $20 off of the eShop. because now it has kind of started to turn around because the Dolphin emulator has actually gotten a lot more powerful and stable, but that shit used to be a complete nightmare to, you know, find. First of all, download and configure the Dolphin emulator, which just that in and of itself was just the worst. And then, you know, just finding the ROM file for Pokepark Wii Pikachu's Adventure is a fucking challenge in and of itself, because who the hell would torrent that shit? Who the hell would even own that shit? Well, I would, because I actually love that game, but who other than me? So then you would download that, and then, you know, even if you had the emulator and the game, it's not a guarantee that it'll even work, because all of a sudden you have a bad ROM, or all of a sudden you have, like, your computer can't fucking handle the meaty Dolphin engine. So, like, just the convenience of just going onto the eShop, buying a game for $10 and downloading it, which takes what, a total amount of 15 minutes, is what is currently and is really going to combat piracy, really. Because you're not gonna stop piracy by, you know, including freaking piracy patches. For example, in Pokemon White, they included a piracy patch which made it so that if you're playing a pirated ROM of the Pokemon White and Black and White, you would not be able to gain experience whatsoever, which, for a short amount of time, inspired people to do, like, runs where you just didn't get experience, which I heard. I've never done it myself because I've never found a 1.0 copy of Pokemon Black or White. Well, not a copy of it, but like a copy of the ROM, I should say. But I heard that was pretty fun, but it took people like an evening, or not even that, you know, like the equivalent of an evening in internet time, to crack that fucking code. Like, it took people like no time at all to have a working patch of Pokemon Black and White that worked perfectly. So yeah, that's not gonna do it, guys. But having, you know, like, working eShops, or having, you know, shit that works good and is, you know, it's efficient, it's cheap, it works well, like, is accessible, available, like, as I put it, like, you know, eShops, you know, like the Nintendo eShop or the PlayStation Store or Steam or stuff like that. I don't know why this became like a thing, but I guess I'm just putting my thoughts out there of, like, yeah, I really do agree that is, because I would rather pay like a nominal fee for example with the Pokemon games, because I know I'm gonna be playing the Pokemon games, so why not just buy them? Because then I know I have the guarantee that it's gonna work properly. I don't have to fiddle-faddle with emulators and ROMs and whatnot. You know, in general, it's just easier and better. And, you know, like, you do pay the whatever amount of money you spend on the game, but you also, what comes with that is, you know, all those things of, like, the security and the, yeah, pretty much all the things I've already said. Gosh, we're almost done with this fight. Now we just have the Golbat. I really hope it doesn't crit us, because I've experienced that. I've lost some things to this fight before. Well, somebody got a crit. Oh lord, I'm so sure that if it didn't die there, it would have totally killed me, because that would have just been a thing. Like it would have just been typical. Like, oh yeah, of course that happened. Oh, so now it's the Distortion world. I'm well, the Distortion world itself is kind of tedious, because, well, it's just a whole bunch of running around and finding the correct path, and, you know, it does look very nice, that it does, and that is the whole thing about, like, Jesus Lord, I hope when, you know, the inevitable Diamond and Pearl remake comes around, that they go with the Heart Gold Soul Silver route of, like, not completely ignoring Crystal. That they, you know, they actually do include the good shit that Crystal had, even though they are technically Heart Gold and Silver remakes, they also included the things that Crystal did. And that they don't do the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire thing, where they just pretended that Emerald did not exist. Like, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, it was like Pokemon Emerald? What is that? Battle Frontier Gym Leader rematches? Question mark? What? Like, girl, that was very stupid, very silly, and felt like a betrayal. As a person that, you know, because Emerald was the game I played. Like, I own and owned both Ruby and Sapphire when they came out, but, like, subsequent playthroughs, like, after I got Emerald, I really didn't play Ruby and Sapphire after that. So, like, Emerald is the game that I played for all the years until Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire came out. So then Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire not, like, including Emerald whatsoever, it just felt really like a betrayal. Like, and don't give me that shit about, like, oh well, Delta Emerald was a thing. Well, the Delta episode or whatever. Fuck off. That was no. That does not weigh up for the immense betrayal that was Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Anyway. Yeah, I really do hope that the Diamond and Pearl remakes includes Platinum, pretty much, in the fact. Like, of course, obviously, this would not happen, probably, because this would have been what happened, you know, in Diamond and Pearl, where the Dialga or Palkia is waiting here, and, you know, you fight Dialga, Palkia, but, like, well, not the, not everything that happens before this, and not the fact that, you know, Cynthia and, I almost said Gets, Cyrus jumps in here as well. Like, of course, that would be hard to include. But to have the Distortion world be like a post-game area where you find Giratina, that would be so fucking cool. Like, imagine seeing this shit on the Switch. Holy shit, that girl. That just makes my pussy all kinds of wet, girl. Like, of course, sure, it would still probably be super tedious to get through, and, you know, the thing about, like, I feel with fans, like, not just Pokemon fans, but fans of anything, that, you know, we're never gonna be happy. Like, not individual people, but we as fans, like, oh, we're just never gonna be happy, because there's always gonna be something. But that would be pretty cool. And I feel like, because there is something to be said about the fact that when newer games newer games come out, you start to appreciate what you had. Like you kind of saw a lot of people, hating on Black and White, but then when X and Y came out, it was like, oh, Black and White were masterpieces. Like, oh, why can't we have more of that? And yeah, I don't really know where I'm going with this. And actually, I do have something I can say about that, which is, because now that Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon came out, I've went back and played X and Y, and like, I kind of felt like, have I been telling myself that I don't like this game even though I do? Like, because you have a lot of people shitting on X and Y because, I feel like there's plenty to shit on when it comes to those games. But I don't, even though I've read a lot of people shitting on it, I don't think I've ever really disliked X and Y. I definitely had issues with it, but I've never been like, oh, X and Y are bad games. Because they are okay, but you can definitely tell that, like, yeah, these things, there are things about it that aren't good. But in general, they're okay. Because the thing is that I don't want to be hypocritical. So obviously I want to go into myself and see if there's like a, what is that called? Cognitive dissonance of like, am I just telling myself that I always liked X and Y but I didn't actually? But no, I don't think I've ever had I don't think I ever had a problem with X and Y to the point where I thought they were bad games. I did have some issues with them, but not to the point where I was hating on them or anything like that. Omega Rebel Alpha Cypher, on the other hand, if I found out later that I actually like those games, I have some major, shit to look at when it comes to, cognitive dissonance and all that shit. Because I've definitely shat all over those games, and I have played through them completely. Like, it's not like I'm hating on them without having played them. I have played through Omega Rebel Alpha Sapphire several times, and I would still to this day claim that if you want to play through Hoenn, play Emerald, because it's better than the remakes. Which, I feel like people would be like, are you real? This like Game Boy Advance game is better than these like 3DS games, which are newer and better and all have so many more improvements. Yes. I would still say they are better. Well, no, I would still say that Emerald is better than them. Which I definitely wouldn't say for Heart Gold Soul Silver, because they are, like, they took gold and silver and, sprinkled in crystal and just made them perfect. Like, I would say Heart Gold Soul Silver are the closest the Pokemon games have ever gotten to, like, a perfect 10 out of 10 for me. And I put, lines under it for me, because, obviously I'm going to have some personal bias, because I don't think I could ever truly objectively talk about Pokemon, because it is something that is so close to my heart. So, like, but still, even if I try to be as objective as possible, I still think that Heart Gold Soul Silver, maybe, I'm not sure if they are the best Pokemon games. That is, I feel, you could debate that. Oh, fuck, where the hell am I? Yeah, you could debate that, but they are still very good, that they are. And, like, definitely, like, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, even though they are, like, they're very visually good, but they have so many problems that go beyond that. Oh my god, I'm experiencing some slowdown here. But I think that this actually does happen in the actual games. Well, I mean, cough, cough, I'm totally playing this on an actual DS. Like, even if you're doing that, there's like a... the game is struggling just ever so slightly, because, I mean, for DS, this is pretty, like, extreme. And this is just such an iconic thing. And I don't really ever use that word at all. But look at this. Imagine seeing this done right on the Switch. It would just be incredible. And that's the thing that I'm so afraid to see the the Diamond and Pearl remakes, because the thing is that Heart Gold Soul Silver, if they continue the way they're doing now, we're never ever gonna see Pokemon games that are gonna be of that quality. I feel like it's it's an image of like two quotes next to each other. It is the game director, I think, for Heart Gold Soul Silver, which is like, dude, at this point we've added so many things. Like, I've gotten people asking me, like, can we really add this much? Like, this is crazy, but I just wanted to do this for the fans, you know? I want to make the greatest game ever. And then, like, you have again, I don't know if this is true, but maybe not the game director, but at least I think it's Junichi Masu. Anyway, a person that is responsible for Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, with the quote, we just didn't add the Battle Frontier because nowadays kids are just on their mobile phones, that they don't have time to play games anymore, so we just didn't add it. Which, you know, seeing those quotes back to back is so jarring. Like, oh my god. Well, we've made it all the way down here, and I think we're at 23 minutes approximately, and I think I would rather save this for the next episode, so I'm gonna be seeing you guys in the next time. Sorry about this. I didn't mean for this to be like cliffhangery.